I don't know about you, but I can't think of a better way to relax a month out from a new expansion release than by turning into a Dolyak and flying around a cliff face while people drag race skiffs down below and dive bomb unsuspecting partygoers with their griffins. That's right, it's time for the Festival of the Four Winds. What is Festival of the Four Winds? What can you do during it, and what rewards can you expect? Well, put the cork in that Dolyak tonic for a few more minutes here, and I'll tell you. Festival of the Four Winds combines a lot of the content from Bazaar of the Four Winds and Queen's Jubilee from back in Living World 1 into one super festival of racing, simulated murder for sport, and Drooburt. As per usual for any festival, you will be doing events and activities for festival currencies. The flavor of this festival currency is an aptly named festival token. These are dropped by enemies in the Crown Pavilion and rewarded from festival events and activities. These can be used to purchase all sorts of rewards such as mini pets, weekly reward currencies, a few items with cool cosmetics, a couple home instance nodes, and most importantly, the endless Dolyak calf tonic. There are reward vendors spread between each of the two festival locations we'll talk about today that sell different things, so be sure to check them out to see what you should save for next. There are also the Favor of the Bazaar and the Favor of the Pavilion, earned by completing daily achievements in their respective areas, or the Favor of the Festival, earned from the weekly achievement Four Winds festivities, or made by combining the other two favors together. But where exactly do you go to earn these? There are two festival areas, but before we head over there, I did want to point out that while you're doing anything in Central Tyria, you may notice these kite basket supplies littering your map as you adventure. These are available during the festival and will give you some quartz crystal, festival tokens, and a chance at some quartz related recipes. Where the heck do these kites keep coming from? The Labyrinthine Cliffs, of course. You've got options to get to the Labyrinthine Cliffs, the first and largest of the two festival areas. In any major city, there will be one of these hot air balloons to whisk you away to the whimsical cliffs. There is also a boat that will take you to the cliffs in Lion's Arch. Otherwise, check your mail when you log in for the first time for a party invitation that will take you there as well. The party invitation will take you to Labyrinthine Cliffs, your race's starter zone, or the Crown Pavilion. If you don't end up where you were aiming to go, just use it again until you get there. It will rotate through. Past the loading screen is a winding cliffside bazaar with an oceanfront view full of tons of activities, events, and even a salacious book written by none other than our own Snargle Goldclaw, hidden away somewhere for us to track down later. If you took the hot air balloon, you'll find yourself high above the water near some activity people. If you used the party invitation or boat in Lion's Arch, you'll be at the bottom waypoint with all of the festival reward merchants. Also found here are the Zephyrite supply box merchants. These boxes are what you can buy to gamble for super expensive things like this year's new enchanted music box that is so valuable at the moment, the trading post price maximum of 10,000 gold probably isn't the most you can get for it. You trade various crafting materials for these boxes rather than festival currency. As always, this really is personal choice. The drop research shows it to generally not be worthwhile, but somebody's gotta win, right? There are merchants scattered all throughout the cliffs that sell various food or cooking items, but this is the bulk of the festivities rewards available here. For now, let's talk about the exciting things to do here. The first and most major is the Treasure Hunt meta event that happens every 2 hours. There will be 3 rounds of collecting as much loot as possible before time runs out. Bundles of loot you receive can be traded in for some various kites, a mini beach Gordon, or some loot bags. The vendor can be found here in the cliffs by this campfire. You'll need 1,600 bundles of loot to get all of the unique rewards from this, so get hunting. I was able to comfortably get over 200 bundles each time, so you'll need to do this event probably 7 to 10 times to get all of the rewards, depending on your speed and mounts. Once all 3 rounds have been completed, head to the Sky Docks waypoint for the bonus event. A flame effigy will be summoned and everyone will have to put it out using water balloons as it walks away. You can only damage this with the balloons, so make sure you're picking those up. This is the final event in the Labyrinthine Cliffs event schedule, rotating every 2 hours. At 15 minutes past the hour, the Skimmer Slalom event will pop up near the Bazaar docks, on this island just north of the airship, here. At 30 minutes past the hour, a new to EOD fishing tournament will pop up near the Bazaar docks, just south of the airship, that is only available to you if you have End of Dragons for the fishing mastery. Compete to catch the most fish, the rare timed fishing spots that come up giving you the most bang for your buck. At 45 minutes past the hour, a Dolyak race begins over here by the dockyard waypoint where you come in, and you will be transformed into a Dolyak when the event begins. This race is a bit different, requiring you to use some special crystal powers to complete it. And at the top of the second hour is a Skiff Race that will begin here. If you don't have EOD, fret not. Unlike fishing, you can rent a skiff if you're dying to drift around the water in your own boat. 30 minutes after the Skiff Race is when the treasure hunt begins. In between event rotations, there's still the time trial versions of the Skiff Race, Flying Dolyak Race, and Skimmer Slalom to complete for your race reward boxes. There is also an expert and master griffin adventure to do for those of you with the griffin and aerial prowess mastery unlocked. In addition to these, there is another open world activity, the Labyrinthine Glyphs Crystal Collection, which you can do with either mounts or the special crystal skills, though it is easier if you have the Sky Scale, Springer, and even Griffin mounts. The game does repeatedly refer to it as a mount challenge, but you can try to do it with just the crystal skills, though at greatly increased difficulty, or you can just rent a mount around here. I also got gold with 20 seconds to spare just using my fully mastered Sky Scale and 1 Glider Jadebot boost. Also found here are the PvP Aspect Arena and the Sanctum Sprint racing activities, which will award you with more festival tokens. Sanctum Sprint offers some additional silver and karma, but not much. Drooburt is also found here, peddling literal junk for exorbitant prices. He does sell some items needed for an achievement as usual, so if you're a completionist, you'll have to part ways with some gifts here. Oh, I did also promise you the salacious storytelling of Snargle Goldclaw, didn't I? Well, it's found way over here by this lone Zephyrite on a cliff. Just be sure to bring a glass of water. You're gonna be thirsty after this. Or so disgusted you want to soak the book with that water. Either way, that covers all the activities and events found in the cliffs, so let's hop in that hot air balloon over to the Crown Pavilion in Divinity's Reach and get ready for some fighting. As you enter, you'll be in the central hub of the pavilion, and you'll find your reward merchants here. There's only 2 events here. One is a mount race, which has a matching time trial you can do. Any mount is permitted here, so pick your favorite and get dashing. The other one is an iconic part of the pavilion, the boss blitz. As people defeat enemies in the Queen's Pavilion or donate money, the bar preparing for the boss blitz will fill up. Once it does, the blitz begins. Looking at the map, you'll notice that this circular zone is split into 6 slices of delicious pizza. Each slice of pizza has a different topping and therefore a different boss. The objective is to split up and fight all of the bosses as fast as possible, ideally defeating them all at once. Everyone gets more rewards the faster they die. Ideally, you want to be in a group of about 10 people at most, as after 13 plus, the bosses begin to drastically scale up in health. The bosses also have a signature ability, and each time a boss dies, it transfers that ability to all other bosses left in the pavilion. The preferable strategy is to drop each boss to about 10% and then do a map-wide burn to minimize as much issues as possible. Once your boss is dead, you can either head to the center of the map and hang out, or kill enemies around your area for some more rewards, staying away from other bosses to prevent them from scaling up. Completing the event will reward you with festival tokens and a boss blitz chest relating to your speed in killing the bosses, gold being the highest for defeating all bosses in under 8 minutes. This will also reward you with Queen's Gauntlet entrance tickets, which are used for our final activity. The Queen's Gauntlet takes place in the arenas floating above the Crown Pavilion and pits you in one-on-one combat against the progressively more difficult enemies. You unlock more fights by completing the next fight in the list that is the hardest foe you have unlocked. You have a certain amount of time to defeat the boss before you automatically lose and are ejected down to the ground. You can also activate gambits, which are challenges that also cost tickets and put a disadvantage on you but give increased rewards for your gauntlet fight and are needed for some achievements. There are some notoriously difficult fights in this gauntlet, and you may need to play around with different builds or even look up some specific boss guides if you're struggling. Once you've emerged victorious from the gauntlet, you've seen everything the festival has to offer, so get out there and take down some bosses and drift the currents in a skiff. While you're waiting for that next event to pop or your turn in the gauntlet, click here to watch my guide to getting you prepped for Secrets of the Obscure. It's coming up quick.